and we're sort of the business. And then we partner really closely with our tech and data partners. So really cross-functional, cross-departmental. And it's, really rewarding to see a lot of the great work that we do and how we're really able to advance the things that we do in terms of our interactions, communications with our customers and communities.
Yeah, great. And to give a little context for those that may not be as familiar with M&T Bank, do you mind just giving a quick overview of M&T as a business and maybe the operating model?
Yeah, happy to do so. So M&T Bank is a top 20 commercial bank in the USA, and some will know us from retail banking, but we actually derive a lot of our revenue from other activities, mostly in what you might call B2B. So things like commercial banking, business banking, and then we also have the Wilmington Trust brand. So there's institutional client services, wealth management, and so it's really a very diverse organization. And that's one of the, I think fun things about the job, but also one of the most challenging things is we're not working on one business line or one product. We're really focusing on delivering for the entire enterprise. So that's going to be B2B, B2C, a lot of different user groups, a lot of different customer types. And so that really does make it challenging, but it also makes it interesting and fun. So, think of M&T as a really diversified financial services organization, and we mostly operate within the Northeast, but we have expanded into some new markets up in New England. And then also our Wilmington Trust business takes us to some geographies that are sort of out of that traditional footprint and even into Europe. So when we think about user privacy, and I know we'll get into this a little bit, we have an interesting seat because we have customers, in most 50 states, and then we do business in Europe. And so as there's a lot of different challenges with data privacy regulations in different geographies because they're not all the same. So hopefully that was a pretty useful kind of overview of M&T and Wilmington Trust.
Yeah, definitely. And so then to give a little more context for what we're going to talk about as we talk about first party data and some of these other things, could you give a little background on, how does M&T think about customer experience? You mentioned there's a few different brands and operating models that you're working within. How do you think about customer experience, and how does that relate to the marketing stack and things like that?
Yeah, great question. In everything that I do, I try to reflect back to the enterprise priorities and the vision that the senior leadership has. And we really want to be a community bank at scale. And our CEO, Renee Jones, has said, we want to be the bank that's invited into homes and communities. And so I do take that as guidance, and I take it very seriously. And I think it's a really good North Star for us as we're thinking about customer experience and how we can utilize technology for things like personalization. I think that gives us a good guidepost for how we should be principled in the work that we do. One of the things that we have as an advantage over something like a publisher or a retailer is that we have a really deep data set on our customers, right? And they trust us with their data. And that's almost nowadays a feature of a bank, right? Because ultimately we're in the trust business. And so customers must trust us to do right by them, including with the data that they share for us. And so we really think about that and take it very seriously. But again, we also want to use that to improve their experience. So, a North Star being, right, how do we improve performance and efficiency within the business, but do it in a way that we're providing value for the customer? I really like the concept of sort of that value exchange within, right, the data privacy space, right? Like when someone is, sharing their data with you, they should get value for doing so. And I really think that that's a good way of us thinking about how we can make, right, things like personalization really helpful and useful rather than, what you see sometimes with personalization and AI misses where it becomes really creepy and turns people off such that they no longer want to interact with that brand. I think nowadays for modern brands, right, not just banks, trust is becoming a key feature of someone doing business with you.